later. Yeah, so Fumina, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're quite excited to hear from you, learn from you, and just hear about your story and your journey coming into Copenhagen and just building such an amazing and powerful magnetic brand. And actually today I was on a call with my Buena Onda graphic designer, and I was mentioning that you're coming to talk today. And she's like, oh, I'm looking at her brand all the time. It looks so good. I love her outfits, her lifestyle, everything that's put together feels so her. And I told her that's exactly what we're addressing today and what we're talking about. So thank you for being here, and welcome to our space. We can start off just by telling us a little bit about yourself and your story. And yeah, let's start with that and we go from there.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Fumina, and I'm now work for a contributing fashion editor for Elle Japan, and also I work as the social media editor for the Harper's Bazaar Japan. Right now, it's kind of new work. I just started working there in January this year. It's my new job. And yes, I live in Copenhagen right now, and Fala is my one of my good friends. And then yeah, thanks so much for today. And then yeah, I was born and raised in Japan, and then my hometown is called Nagasaki, and which is a super small city in the countryside of Japan. And then I moved to Tokyo when I entered university, and I learned English literature there. So actually, my major had nothing to do with fashion or editing, but I have been so into fashion since when I was a child because of my grandmother. I think because she was super like a stylish woman, and she always bought me a lot of fancy clothes. So that's why I became like a love fashion. And then after graduating my university, I always think about like a working in the fashion industry, and then I really wanted to be a fashion editor for the international like a fashion magazine like Elle. And then I applied to the Elle Japan, and I got this job. So actually, it's my first job. And then I worked in Japan for 5 years, and then moved to Denmark in 2020 with my husband. And my husband is now a master student in Denmark, so that's why we moved together. And I live in Copenhagen, and then still continue my job, like work from home remotely always. Yes.
Yes, amazing. You have a beautiful little cozy setup in your flat as well, and little home office vibes.
Thank you.
And what about Femina? Why did you, beyond Hiroki, going to study there? Is there something else that you felt magnetized to come to Copenhagen? Why did you choose Copenhagen?
Yeah, actually, my husband and I visited Copenhagen in the summer of 2017 for the first time. Actually, it was just for a summer vacation for us. And then I knew that the Copenhagen was beautiful city in Europe, but actually we fell in love with the vibes in Copenhagen, like scenery or architecture or people's lifestyles or food and culture or everything. So we were like, okay, we should live here. And then actually it's kind of like a behind story, but at that time, like when I visited Copenhagen for the first time, like I was super stressed because of my job, and I lost my hair because of the stress. And then when I during the stay in Copenhagen, like my I got my hair again. Like my hair is growing so fast in Copenhagen. So yeah, it's kind of funny story, but yeah, I think the city like will fit my body or mental. I think so. That's why we choose Copenhagen.
That makes total sense, because I remember
Yeah.
like coming from Hong Kong to Copenhagen. Hong Kong is so fast and there's people everywhere, and the light is always awake and it's never really silent. But I think we often talk about as well that when we're in Copenhagen, sometimes you're like, it's so quiet.
Yeah, it's so quiet.
Is their life. And so of course it gives you this like amazing, and Georgina, you live in Copenhagen as well, so you know the vibe. But it's quite a cool place. But we're happy that you came here, Femina. You've
Yeah,
made quite an impact here in Copenhagen. So you came here
thank you.
from Japan, and you didn't really know anybody. You came here, started from scratch, and you decided to build a brand for yourself. So can you tell us a little bit about that and your journey into that space?
Yeah, okay. So like for the first time, like I have no, yeah, I have some friends in Copenhagen, but it's like a quite a few, like a one or two friends. So I was totally stranger in Copenhagen, like a baby. But and then I think like I thought it would be wonderful if I could continue my job in Copenhagen smoothly. And then because of my, I'm working for the fashion industry, so I just want to connect with some of the fashion people in Copenhagen. But right now, my situation is like a much more exciting than I expected before, because like some of the fashion people in Copenhagen are really interested in me and my style or my job, of course. And then they gave me a lot of chance to go to the like an event or fashion show or I don't know, press previews or something like that. And also I got a chance like wearing new clothes or beautiful new products or and then create some content for my Instagram. So like it's kind of like a beyond yeah situation right now. So yeah, actually it's nice for me. Like it's totally new things for me. Like yeah, I'm really enjoy it right now.
It's a whole new experience.
Yeah, it's whole new, totally new experience. Yeah.
Yeah. And recently I was talking to one of our SRM alumni, which is the participants that have taken this masterclass and graduated, and they were asking me about how to keep their own authenticity and how to keep their own personal brand when brands are pushing, for example, products on them or different collaborations are coming. How do you, Fumina, stay true to your own identity with so many brands coming at you, and of course that's shining through your content? So what is your method to just stay true to you no matter what's coming at you?
Mm, I think like being true myself is like I think it's like a being different from others always. And then actually I always try be like the only one person in the world. Yeah, since when I was a child, because like I don't want to wear like a clothes like other person, or I mean the I want to like a style the same clothes in my way, you know. So I don't know, but maybe being true to myself is like my personality. Actually, it's my strength. Like yeah, it's totally my personality. So I think that's why maybe I can do that.
Yeah, but what you're saying is exactly right, because every single person has a uniqueness to their personality. They have a uniqueness to their light and their energy, and if they try to fit it into something that's too trendy or something in a different direction, then you lose your essence. Like Sophia's definitely Sophia, Bhavna's definitely Bhavna, like Kristen's definitely Kristen, Satya, everybody has this like energy to them. And so if we try to be something else, we're missing out on ourselves. And I think what you do so beautifully, Femina, is you just stay in that space and you're like, this is me. It just doesn't matter. This is how it's
Yeah.
roll, whether I'm in Copenhagen or Japan or Italy, this is how I'm rolling. And that's the way to go. And of course, that builds magnetism because it ties into authenticity and your own truth. And speaking of that, I also noticed that even when you create content on your platforms and as well the YouTube videos, even though you've moved into Europe and you're having these collaborations, a lot of local brands, you're still communicating in Japanese. Is there a reason for that strategy?
Yeah, actually, for my I mean, in terms of my work, it is the working for the Japanese fashion industry is the most easiest way of getting money in Copenhagen. Actually, it's like a realistic speaking, but yeah, because like the Japanese fashion magazine industry is always understaffed, and my husband is a student, so like I have to earn money in Copenhagen, so that's why. And then for my Instagram, actually I have so many Japanese followers like who want to live abroad like me or love the Scandinavian fashion or lifestyle. So that's why I always like when I post on my Instagram, like I always write caption in English and also Japanese. And then yeah, listen to Japanese people interested in the Scandinavian culture. So I want to like spread the information or like create content to spread the charms of the Copenhagen.
Yeah, definitely. And that's also such a powerful way to build community and to build magnetism about around what you're creating, because ultimately that is the livelihood. And if you're helping the people in Japan see what's happening here, then that you become your own magazine in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
In your own guide for them. And actually, for Fumina's platform, if me and my friends are hungry and we want to go eat somewhere, we just check out her account because she's always eating all over the city. So you can
Yes.
see all the Italian spots, Sophia. She's got you covered.
Yes.
All the good all over town, always on that tip, which is very helpful for all of us. So keep eating, Femina. Keep eating it all.
For sure.
And what about somebody, Femina, that is interested in following your footsteps? Like they see they have a space that they're into, whether it's content creation or they have a studio or they're a journalist or no matter what space they're in, and they feel they want to build this own brand around themselves and really create a space for them. What was some advice that you can offer for someone that's looking to following in similar footsteps across a variety of industries, you could say?
Maybe as I mentioned before, like I think creating your own universe means like being different from others. So, but to be different from others, it's important to find your strong point and understand your personality at first. And of course, I think there, including me, there are so many like competitors around the who, people who want to create their own universe. So I think it's difficult, but for example, like I always try to add some accents, like a spice, to make my style different. Then, for example, like if I define my style, is it would be like a kawaii street style, you know. So kawaii means cute or lovely in Japanese, and then I always combine different colors or patterns like to make my style like unique and kawaii. And then also I have actually I have a background as a street dancer, so like I really love the street clothes like sweatpants or caps or sneakers or bucket hats or something like that. So it looked like the kawaii things and street style things like it looked like a totally opposite things. But I always combine the and mix the different things like a puzzle and then create my world. So I think it's my tips like to be different from others and create my universe. So I think learning yourself is the first step like to create a self brand.
And that's a very powerful statement, right? And how I think learning about yourself and knowing yourself is such a deep journey. How has it been for you? Um what has been your way of discovering who Fumina is and being so confident in being able to put that out there and represent yourself with that?
Yeah, it's really difficult questions because like maybe I did so many mistakes like I tried a lot of styles, and then like okay, sometimes I really looks like cute, but okay, it's not my style. And then sometimes I really look like a cool or black and white style, but okay, it's not my style. And I always like do this like every day, maybe when I was a university student. And then yeah, it's kind of like a try and error always, and then find like a real me style finally. And then yeah, kind of. But actually, when I used to live in Tokyo, I prefer the black and white style. Yeah, I think at that moment it was my style, but like maybe my mind is changed right now. So yeah, it's kind of like it's going to be a long journey for everyone to find yourself or learning yourself and to find like your personality or strength point. But I think it's gonna be fun, like just to be find myself, like trying a lot of things and then trying new things. And yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, it's actually, it was really nice experience for me to find myself. Yeah.
That's a really nice way to put it for me.
Yeah.
Usually when people are talking about finding themselves, it's like such a like deep and kind of like, heavy topic. Like who am I? What do I have? The suffering I've been through. But here it's like make it fun, right? And I think
Yeah,
it's that like this trial and error is such a nice way to put it because you get to go out and have fun. You try something, I'm not feeling that. You try this is not working out for me. And then you just keep going,
totally.
see what else is there. So I think
Totally. Because so I have so many like pictures I don't want to show you, like like a black history for me.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Yeah.
but I love that the mindset around that, because that's exactly it. It shouldn't be such like a it shouldn't be such a trying thing. Like I have to know who I am. It just doesn't work that way. And you're gonna find out through all the experiences and all the things that you go through. So amazing. And what about Femina outside of this universe? So how is your life outside of the fashion and the content creation? Who is Femina there?
Yeah, like I'm super curious about everything in Copenhagen right now. So as you mentioned before, I love eating out in Copenhagen, and then yeah, I think the Copenhagen is super small city, but there's so many nice restaurants or cafes or delis or something like that. So like I spend a lot of time like finding new place or hidden gems in Copenhagen on my social media or something like that. And then yeah, because I always work from home on weekday, like 5 days, like from Monday to Friday. I always stuck in my home. So like on weekday, I really want to go out and do some like a new experience. So that's why I always eat out with my husband or father or my friends on weekend and like eat delicious food and like taking pictures and post on my Instagram. It's kind of my routine. Yeah.
Amazing. And what about recently we were having a conversation at Inghao Cafe, and we were talking about how there's so much going on, and we were also exchanging ideas around how we manage all the amazing things that we want to do because we want to do them. And you were mentioning about the content creations, starting your new role with Harper's Bazaar, but then still fulfilling the L Japan role. So how do you still manage your universe? What is the way that you manage all that you're doing at once? And still continue to, sparkle up every day.
Yeah, it's actually it's tough like having two jobs and like having my own account on Instagram. But like I actually like always make my time schedule like a perfect. I mean, like I always like put maybe Svala, you
I've seen
sometimes
it.
saw my calendar, right? Google
I've
Calendar,
seen
right?
it. It's always like a pink and a bunch. I'm like, what is that? It's always like by the minute organized. So yes, please
Yeah,
tell us about that, enlighten us so I can learn more about it as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because yeah, that's why I always like try to organize my schedule like on my Google Calendar, and maybe I can show you. Yeah, so my calendar looks like this.
Yeah. Sophia, I just see your face. That's every time I hang out with her, this is what I see. I'm like, Famina, now give us your wind down tips after.
Sometimes I have like
It's crazy. So what these are your meetings, or do you also schedule your
like
self-care time, your self-time?
meeting or like okay, this time I want to like a consent. I want to concentrate on my lighting article. So like okay, please no, but like
No
don't
one
put
talk to
the
me.
yeah yeah to like a meeting or emailing or something like that, or like an event or like a press reviews or something like that. So yeah, I always do that. So maybe that's why my life is worked right now.
Yes.
Maybe because of this. Yeah.
So just organizing your time and being mindful and conscious of your time rather than just kind of being pulled in different directions. You kind of
Yeah.
sit down and say, okay, this is what I want to do. Let me break it down. And then you just
Yeah.
feel, yeah, because we had a conversation about this recently in one of the master classes where it's like when you don't have all the things you want to do in one place, you feel chaotic, you feel stressed out because you don't even know, you're afraid you're going to forget something. But once you build that structure, then you just feel and you actually realize that you do have more time because you kind of listed everything out. And so when you're not working for Mina, how do you slow down? How do you unwind?
Yeah, like yeah, I love eating out, of course, and then at my home, like actually, I love being at home, like with my husband and just chill, like watching Netflix or something like that. But like I really love like a Japanese drama or Japanese animes or Japanese entertainment or something like that. So it's kind of my relaxed time. And then sometimes, yeah, because I'm in Copenhagen, it's like a far place from Tokyo, and sometimes I miss Japan, of course, and Japanese like entertainment or something like that. So I think that being at home and watching the kind of things is like a feels like a me, like a Japanese me, you know.
And Femina, what about if, looking at all that you have accomplished in Copenhagen since coming in, but also your career in general, what would you say is the most standout piece of wisdom that you have gained from this experience? You know, you talk about getting to know yourself, coming into Copenhagen, not really knowing many people, integrating this universe. What is some learnings that you can share with us today from that journey in general?
Maybe I want to say let's try everything whatever you want to do. I think yeah, actually, my mom always said to me like that, okay, Fumina, please do whatever you want to do. And then so I used to live in a small town when I was a child, and when I decided to go to Tokyo when I entered university, she said okay, maybe it is what you want to do, so you can do it, okay. And then I said to mom okay, my husband and I going to the Copenhagen and live a few years, so and how what do you think? And then she said oh, yeah, okay, it's whatever you want, it's totally fine. And so yeah, it's kind of my a mindset, doing whatever you want and trying new things, and don't be afraid to being the place that you don't know is a totally fine. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that. Just pushing us into the unknown, pushing into.
totally, exactly.
And how do you, Fina, deal with sometimes, you know, sometimes things don't go our way. Sometimes things don't go so easy. Sometimes things are challenging. Sometimes things do feel stressful. So how do you manage these situations in your world?
Maybe I have sometimes a feeling a super difficult to keep myself, and then to keep my content upload or doing my work a following deadline every day. But sometimes I switch it all of the things off, and then shut put on this my phone far away, and just to be alone, maybe Hiroki with my husband. So I think it's nice to take a little bit distance from the, I don't know, people or society or social media or job or something like that. So I sometimes need that kind of time to be relaxed. And yeah, going to the Italy like last month. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks so nice.
Yeah, it's kind of, we need to escape sometimes from the reality.
Yeah, that's totally it. And sometimes we get so absorbed in it. It's all that we see, and just putting yourself in a different environment, like we were talking about earlier, you just get a fresh perspective, a fresh slate and
Yeah,
thing. And then you also realize like I don't even have to do all that. I can just do this, but that doesn't matter anymore. This doesn't matter anymore. But when you're this much into it, everything matters because you're so deep. But giving yourself that space and pushing everything away is of course very powerful.
yeah, totally. Yeah, sometimes I got so many DMs on my Instagram, and I always trying to reply for the all of them. It's sometimes it's a super, it's over my work, so sometimes I ignore them. Yeah, to be keep my heart quiet,
Oh, I love that. Keeping the heart quiet. Yeah. We have to take care of our heart. It speaks to,
yeah, yeah,
you
for
have to.
sure, everyone should do that.
Everyone should do that. I had what do you call it, like a reflexology appointment in Copenhagen once, and this woman, she was a little bit like a esoteric reflexologist, and she, when we finished, she was like, Farah, your heart is really asking you to listen to it. It's really asking you to listen, and it's asking you to hold its hand and listen to it. I was like, wow, all that's happening inside. It's a different universe, but I think it's so important to listen to our bodies so that we can just find our rhythm with nature as well. So I think that's quite important. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And what would you say, Femina, that, you know, what do you feel most proud of in all the achievements that you've come across so far?
Ah, actually, being in Copenhagen, I think it's kind of a big journey for me and also my husband. And I think I was not able to come to Copenhagen by only by myself. Like,
Yes.
yeah, we always support each other. So that's why we came here. We made it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the most biggest happening in my life, being in Copenhagen and living in Copenhagen and meet beautiful friends and doing my work in Copenhagen is the best thing ever in my life.
Yeah, it's so nice. Actually, we should have Hiroki here with us as well.
Yeah, yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
can Hiroki.
Actually, I think he's already in my apartment, but like I keep him away. Like he's in maybe the common kitchen in my apartment. So
We love Hiroki. Next time we should get him to come and talk to us about all these little machines
yes,
building for sustainable product design. He's always doing
yeah, yeah, for
some
sure.
things amazing. And what about I want to also leave some time to let people also ask questions and just open up and welcome Opie. I saw that you made it as well. It's good to have you. But I guess my question for you would be what do you hope to achieve with all that you're doing? What is the impact that you wish to leave on the community that follows you and the people that interact with you?
Yeah, I think yeah, the pandemic changed the everything in the world, and now our world is kind of much more flexible than it was before. So actually, for me, my company allowed us to work from home because of the pandemic. So actually that's why I could come to Copenhagen and continue my job remotely in here. So like I want to tell everyone that like it is okay to live freely. I mean, and do whatever you want. And so we don't need to stick with the old rules. And actually, I'm not good at like following rules. So like I think let's play together, and then always to be to you yourself is the most important thing. So if you want to live upload, you should do that, and then if you want to change your job, you should do that. So yeah.
Why do you think it's so hard, Femina, for people to do that? There's so much fear for a lot of people to jump in and really follow their truth and do what
Yeah,
they want to do. Why do you think it's so hard for some?
yeah, I think yeah, I think it's maybe it's easy like to be like keep your life like the changing is like it takes time, maybe it costs sometimes, and then it's kind of it's sometimes it's super hard to change environment or change your job or something like that. But yeah, I don't know because like my friends in Japan, like I always ask them like, okay, please come to Copenhagen like for a vacation or just for a working holiday or something like that, and they always say, yeah, we want to do that, and they never come to Copenhagen. So it's kind of a little bit sad,
Yeah.
but I can understand the mind of the people. Like it's a little bit difficult to do that things
Yeah.
like to change your environment or change your job. I don't know, something like that. So yeah, maybe people should be much more brave, and actually it's much more easy than I expected like to do the new things. So
Yes, right. It is much easier than expected.
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Because
it looked like super difficult like
yes,
before we did this, but after that, okay, it was like much more easier than I expected. And
that's always the interesting paradox with going into doing new things. And
totally, yeah.
even like moving to Barcelona and not knowing anybody, like the first day I arrived there and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And I just started crying. And then the next morning
Oh,
when I opened my windows and the sun was shining in, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And
the
I
best thing.
well, and then just things start to work for you in your favor. And yeah, I've met with so many different entrepreneurs and just human beings that have taken these risks in their lives and really pushed themselves. And one thing that is always the same in their story is that even if at the very last minute they think they're going to hit the ground, something comes and takes them to where they had intended to be. So it's about putting yourself out there, pushing beyond your comfort zone and just seeing what happens. And like you said, just try everything and be brave and go out there and just strive for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Break up with fear. Break up with fear, because then you can be true to yourself, you can do things that really matter for you, and then from that you build this attraction and magnetism, which is what we're focusing on in this month space.
Yeah.
And Femina, what are you grateful for?
Um, I think right now my husband and I want to live in Copenhagen much more longer. So it's kind of it's our goal right now,
Yes,
like being live in Copenhagen for a long time. And then my husband is a master student, and then this is his last semester, so he will graduate his master in June, this June. And
amazing.
then yeah, we can extend our residence permit for 2 years after he graduating his master. So during the 2 years, maybe we should figuring out like how to live in Copenhagen much more longer. And then now my husband is trying to build his own business in Copenhagen. So maybe if he can, we can live here more longer, or maybe he finds some job in Copenhagen. I don't know. We'll see. But
Yes,
yeah.
definitely not going anywhere. Gotta
No,
keep
I don't
it.
want to go to Amy. Actually, I don't want to go back to Tokyo. So
Did you guys hear that? She doesn't want to go back to Tokyo. Everyone's like, Tokyo. And then everyone on the other side's like, no, we don't want to go to Tokyo.
yeah,
But
no, it's too much. Yeah.
right, you're too used to the peace and calm of Copenhagen. Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, now I feel super relaxed and like I love the chill atmosphere in Copenhagen. And then
Cool.
now I take a distance from my company or from my boss, so it's totally nice environment. Yeah.
It works. Davna, I can see the entertainment in your eyes. It's I would love to open up the floor and just, just have an open conversation. Any questions that you might have for Fumina, just feel free to open your mic and just come in.
No, I was excited because I love her honesty about getting space from her boss. For me, I love
Very
that.
important for me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for being so honest. And I think that's such a huge motivator for a lot of people to go out on their own and want to do things. So it's beautiful that you found that balance within a traditional or non-traditional, but still work environment to find your freedom in that way. So completely respect that. My question was actually about your experience of, I think you touched on it a little bit, but working on two jobs, creating content, and then staying true to creating content for your own account. How do you find the motivation and I guess avoid burnout? Because that's something that I find myself facing very often, and that because I'm managing so many different accounts and so many different projects, um, even though I still love what I do through my personal account and it is a part of the work that I'm doing for the other projects, I just don't have motivation at the end of the day to kind of keep going with that. So how do you balance that and avoid burnout?
Yeah, that's a nice question. Like, yeah, because I think my account on my Instagram is really important for me because of my Instagram, like now I got a really nice experience in Copenhagen. So like people in Copenhagen like don't know me, of course. At the first time, I'm a super stranger, like a little Japanese girl in Copenhagen. But but people like can touch and get in touch with me in the on Instagram, and then like talk to me and okay, let's have a meeting or let's have a coffee. And then I really appreciate that. And then I got so many nice chance like be it my Instagram. So like I yeah, it's kind of like a I don't want to say my account is not my job. It is job. I mean, yeah, So I always creating I always like try creating making my Instagram like my mood board. Like only like surrounding my favorite things like food or clothes or friends or something like that. So I think it's better like to change the perspective or mind like when you work and when you do your account. So it's kind of like a maybe I'm really good at switching my mind. Yeah, I think so. I think it's the way of my dealing with my busy days, I think.
Nice, I love that. So you're essentially saying like the personal account, we don't need to put that much pressure on it. Like it's
No,
yeah, yeah, no, fair. I think no, but what you said is right. Like it is a job, but maybe it can feel less like a job compared to everything.
Mm.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhavna. I'm gonna stay silent until someone else asks a question. So here we go.
Ah, it's hot.
Hi, I'm sorry, I've turned off my camera because I'm in my kitchen. But okay. And what I wanted to ask is, how was it for you to starting work for such a company as Japan, and then how have you changed from the beginning until now in that job and in the way you deal with that job?
Yeah, actually it's my, yeah, as I mentioned before, it's my first job, like working like as a fashion editor. And then, yeah, before applying my job, like I worked as an intern, like for the music magazine in Japan, like for a year. So I have some experience of the editing or like doing magazine or creating content for online media or something like that. And then, I applied to the Air Japan and got my job. So actually I was super lucky. And then actually my company, like I did not don't do that, this kind of like hiring the 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 people like from after graduating his the university, like because my company always like trying to hire people like who already have some experience in the fashion industry or fashion magazine. So yeah, I was super lucky, like got this job in like a when I was 22 years old or something like that. And then, yeah, and then so at first time I was a assistant fashion editor, and then I worked as assistant for 2 years, and I became a fashion editor, and then worked for 3 years, and then like I do a lot of experience like shooting or interviewing some like famous people or like going to the New York Fashion Week or something like that. So yeah, I think is it correct? Is it right answer for you? Is it okay? I don't know.
Oh, yes, I just wanted to know how you personally lived this first year in comparison to now. And you partly said that before, but I don't know if you want to go deeper about this. I, I was wondering more on a personal level how it was for you.
Mhm. And also just some background information. Sophia is also a journalist, and I met Sophia when she was doing an interview
Wonderful.
for Buena Onda. So I think, Sophia, to clarify, you're asking about how Fumina, how her first year as a journalist feels compared to where she is today. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. I'm writing for Lampoon magazine. I don't know if you know that. It's an Italian magazine. Okay, and meanwhile I'm writing also for other stuff and things like that. So I've started writing about sustainability, writing for Lampoon, and okay, well, and so I was very curious about how you personally dealt with that with the beginning in that well, yes, Atal Japan, and how you're in comparison, how are you feeling now that you have detached, how you said before, from Japan, and you are in Copenhagen. Okay.
Yeah, like mm, yeah, for now, I think I think it's right now my situation in Copenhagen is like totally because of my job. Like I'm a super uncommon person in Copenhagen, like a Japanese, like a girl, like who works for the fashion editor for the L Japan. Like it's kind of like a unique, I think, in Copenhagen. So it's totally like a grateful things. And then at first, when I started as a fashion editor in Japan, like it was super busy, of course, but like I don't know how to say.
How can I help?
Sorry.
I think it's maybe Sophia, if I understand as well, just to further clarify, because I think it's like a deeper question, right? It's really like, for example, in your first year of being a journalist, Fumina, and how what have you learned perhaps from the first years to your later years that can maybe help someone on that path also get into other magazines that are of similar position?
Yeah.
Something change in you, for example? Did you have more confidence all of a sudden? Did you go for different story angles? What is it that kind of, of course you got the job and you were very lucky, but there's a reason why they keep you all these years, right? I mean, I see you hustle, you're writing, you're watching all the brands, you're constantly doing all the research on the ground, you're very hardworking. So is that what has
Yeah.
kind of you to evolved in that space?
Yeah, like yeah, I don't know how to say. Like in my company, like I I'm a editor, but like I always have to do like a lighting article, of course, and then like a gathering stuff like for the shooting or like interviewing someone or like sometimes planning the big event or something like that, like creating a video or something like that. So there's so many things to do. Like it's kind of like a various job in my company, like as a fashion editor. So actually it was totally tough. Like for me, every day is new for me, and every day is like a new challenging, like a day for me. But yeah, I don't know how to say, but like maybe I worked too much in Japan, like yeah, I think it's oh, sorry, it's like, I think it sounds like a super Japanese way of saying, but like working hard is the most important things, like to learn like skills or like experience or like a change your laws. I don't know how to say, but yeah, because so that's why now I like my life in Copenhagen. It's like a little bit like a much more slow down. And then now I like mainly work for online and like a lighting article or shooting sometimes, something like that. But like I don't do the shoot in Japan or like a Japanese things in Copenhagen because I'm in Copenhagen, so obviously. So yeah, I think it's and now it's my mind is has changed a little bit, but like it's for now is I can say it's like I think it's time to like feel a little bit calm down like than in Japan. And yeah, I don't know how to say, sorry. It's not correct answer.
No, no, but it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Did we get it right, Sophia?
Yeah, I was just curious about this, but and it's okay. Thank
I
you.
can tell you from witnessing
Thank
Fumina,
you.
she's always on top of it. She always knows
Yeah,
what's happening, where it's happening, who it's happening to, how it's happening, finding out what's not, what's this. Of course, that creates the fuel for a lot of really strong stories as well in that field. And of course, we're always learning from seeing her live that and then taking from that as our own magazine. So I guess just being out there as a journalist, right? It's just the hustle around
yeah,
it. Yes.
yeah, for sure.
But thank you, Sophia. It's nice
I
that
have a question.
yes, Opie, go for it.
Hi, Fumina. I love your
Hi,
look, by the way. Your hair is so cool.
thank
Um,
you.
so working for like Elle and Harper's Bazaar, how much freedom do you get to say what you want to say? Like like when you're doing an interview maybe, or you're, I don't know, speaking about something in particular, are you able to really like put your soul into your work, or does it have to be, I don't know, by your bosses, like muted down and toned down? Like, I just want to know like that side of things.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of like so my boss, like actually the boss of the editor in chief in Harper's Bazaar was the formerly the editor in chief in the of the Ergo Japan. So like we worked like for a long time together, and she knows me so well. So like she actually trusts me for my work. So like she can say, okay, like I want you to these things, but maybe you can arrange like just like you, or like something like that. So like I can say like I can work like for like a super strictly, but also I have my space like to like arrange it like me. So yeah.
So you feel like you're able to put your personal views across most of the time.
Yeah, sometimes,
Yeah.
but for Habaspada Japan, in terms of the social media of Habaspada Japan, we got like also, of course, we have some goals like getting more followers or getting impressions or something like that. So it's kind of sometimes it's like a strategical. Of course, like I post the contents like to get reactions to my followers, or like looking for some content to like get high impressions or something like that. But yeah, it's kind of it's best, it's important to like take a balance like
Nice. And I also wanted to ask, who's the most interesting person you've interviewed?
the most interesting person.
Yeah.
uh, Maybe, yeah, let me think. Actually, it's not an interview, but like I went to the pa- I went to the Coachella for attending the Rihanna's party. So like
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I saw Rihanna. I met Rihanna and like take some pictures of her, and it's kind of is the most exciting
oh, fun.
yeah
That's really
work.
nice. Cool.
It's super.
Amazing. Thank you, Opie.
Thank you.
I had
Amazing.
a question.
Yes, please.
Oh, sorry, did someone else have a question? Did I interrupt someone?
You're good, Satya.
Okay. um, I just had a question about like the expectations that you grew up with, because obviously like growing up in Japan, for sure the culture is very different to Copenhagen or like the way that you're living your life right now. Is there anything that you would say that throughout your life you had high expectations of something, and then when you finally did it, it was like, oh, it's really not that big of a deal?
Mm, Actually, no, I think like like when I was a student in my hometown, like going to Tokyo is like my big dream, and then I made it, luckily. And then when I was a university student in Tokyo, like being a fashion editor is my big dream, and I made it, luckily. And then like living abroad was my husband and I's big dream, and then we made it right now. So and then I'm really super satisfied with my situation, like environment right now. So yeah, I think it sounds like my life is like a going like a perfect, but it's not obvious, of course. But yeah, but yeah, I always like have some goals in my life, and then always like trying to achieve it, and then like do it like again and again, and then yeah, I think it's my life, I think.
And how would you set sometimes like when you achieve a goal, it seems like many times we don't like have the time to say, I just achieved a goal that I've been pursuing for a while. I'm going to take the time to celebrate it. And instead of that, what ends up happening is that you already want something else. You want something bigger. You want something completely different. So, how have you managed in that case? Like, I guess, take the time to celebrate and also set up new goals for yourself.
I take some time to celebrate it for the first, and then and then just like take a time like to relax or settle down, and then like thinking about, okay, what's the next goal or dream for me, and then thinking about, I always, it of course it take a time like to find the next goals, but like it's the goal is like sometimes like happen like it like came up with my mind like suddenly in the daily life, so like we cannot like expect it like yeah, so like I just wait like the goals like came up with my mind, yeah, always. It just take a time.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's very interesting that you said that, Fumina, because when we had the Slow Mastermind session with the gurus from last month, someone also asked, Satya, I don't think you were there for that one, but I think someone also asked about, they say, don't do anything, let everything come to you. And then the question was, well, then what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and do nothing? And she said, no, actually, you will be more busy because the expectations and the goals and the ambitions that come to you are coming from deep within you. So they are more true than you having to feel like you need to make a goal, you need to have your desires, you need to have your your ambitions out there, but rather just kind of like also what Fumina said today, just sit with it and then it will organically come to you. But if you like with everything in life, if you force it, you're just creating aversion and what do you call that, resistance in that space. So always wise questions, Satya. Guru Satya. Amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I
Anyone
would
else?
also love to ask a question.
Amazing.
I would love to ask you if you think back to when you're back in Tokyo and you have finished your university and you're 22 and you just got this job that you were really excited about. Is there anything at that time you wish now that you had known, or any kind of like advice you would give to your younger self, or just anything that would be like, oh, back then I wish someone had told me to try this or not try this, or like anything advice you would give yourself when you were back in that stage?
Mm, I think my mom like always said like always like advised me like everything. So like yeah, I think, yeah, actually I don't have any siblings in my family, and then my parents divorced when I was a super child. So like I always like be together. I was always be together with my mom, and then she always like allow me to whatever I want to do. So like it's kind of my life like doing whatever I want. So for me, it's like a supernatural things like whatever you want, like going to Tokyo, or like entering university, or like finding my dream job in after graduating my university. So yeah, it's like a supernatural things for me. Is that okay?
Thank you.
That's also very powerful, right? It's like the conditioning you have as a kid. I think growing up, my parents were like, don't do that. Don't do this. Be careful. Watch out. You're going to die if you go and eat this, but then as you grow up and you're afraid of everything. But then in Femina, in your case, it's like, do whatever you want. So you're like, jump off a plane and skydive, whatever. There isn't like the conditioning of the worst case scenarios or the fears, or, I could see Opie, you're totally relating to that for sure. And it's there, right?
Yeah, I
Totally.
think
Sorry. I was just
sure.
going to say, just listening to you, Femina, like, I'm just like, wow, you just seem so fearless. And like, you
Really.
don't think about like what could go wrong, just like Farah said. And it's just so refreshing to hear that and seeing what you've achieved as well with that mindset. So yeah, it's really interesting.
It's like, let's just do it. It's like fear doesn't exist in that. This is life without fear. And
Yeah,
even
but I think like my mom like didn't say like don't do that, or like I don't like that way like you do, or something like that. So maybe that's why. Maybe I really grateful my mom like to raise up like me.
yeah,
She
just
seems cool.
Yeah, no, but that makes total sense, right? And it's the mindset, it's the conditionings, and going however you were nurtured growing up, you have these limiting beliefs and these conditions that then subconsciously control you when you don't even realize they're controlling you, until one day you hear Fumina say this and you're like, wait a minute. You're like, what's going on? And it just takes you back and invites you to reassess your mindset. And then, as you were saying as well earlier, Fumina, that it takes you closer to being your truest self. And of course, the closer you can be to your truest self, the more you can express more of your truth and go for things that you like. And that what becomes out of that is also what your answer was to Bhavna, that it's not, it doesn't even feel like a job. I'm loving it. I'm doing it because it gives me so much. So even in that space, there's not even a fear there that I have to do this because it gets me this. I have to do that. So I think also, Opie, the way that you said that as well, now just summarizing it by clearing out, is just fearlessness. This is what fearlessness looks like, everyone. Freedom and liberation and full avenue for creativity. But I think that it's been really inspiring to hear that as well. It's a good mindset shift and a reminder just to check in with ourselves and eliminate that. What are there any fears in your life, Amina?
Sorry?
Are there any fears in your life? Anything that you're afraid of?
Mm, of course, I'm always afraid like being like doing mistakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, because sometimes when like I feel when I do mistakes, like when I mistake something, like I think like okay, because I'm human, like I mistakes, like it's like a super normal, like a natural things. And yeah, yeah, I think it's the nice like to change my mind. But maybe one fear I have right now is like I cannot like seeing my family
Yeah.
in, because I'm in Copenhagen. And actually after I moved to Copenhagen, my grandfather passed away, and I cannot like see him like last minute. So like it's the biggest like a regret like I experienced in Copenhagen. So I think it's the only one thing like I fear, like losing someone like without seeing each other or something like that. Yeah.
100%.
So maybe everyone do that, right?
Always, right? It's just you don't want to lose anything you love. And
So we have to always like a texting or like a FaceTime with my family.
that's the biggest paradox of life itself.
Yeah.
The bigger the love, the bigger the loss. And that's why some people even hold back their love, and there's even fear there, because you know that if you love so hard and so strong, that if anything happens to that, it's just like, how can you even? But that's our test, right? To be as loving as much loving as possible, regardless of the fear that's like there. And that takes a lot. Actually, I remember once having an epiphany about this and being like, that's a big ask. Like that's a massive ask of us, and here we are doing our best to do that. So yeah, it's there, it's human.
Yeah.
Amazing. Any other questions? Haldora, you're so quiet today, can't even see you. Pull her out of her. And Jennifer as well.
I have a Copenhagen question to ask. I didn't want to ask it because I didn't want to be like Copenhagen selfish and not all Copenhagen group. But if you if you could like say your top 3 favorite restaurants / cafes to go to, like right now, your top favorites, what would they be?
In Copenhagen.
It's a hard one.
Let me check.
You have
Please.
a list. Because I also feel like, for lots of people, they can always change. I feel like lots of the people here will feel the same. I think lots of us don't live in our home country or in our home city. And it's like one of the most fun things I think about living abroad is that your kind of favorite places and favorite things to do, like they're always changing as you learn more about the city and the culture that you live in.
For sure, for sure. And I think the last one is like a
Delphine, that's a good one.
Delphine. Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Yeah, I love Delphine. Like it's like a super chill, and then the restaurant is super huge. So, but it's always fully booked. But it's nice and atmosphere, and then the food is also good. And maybe actually it's new spot. Paula, do you know this spot?
So yeah, I saw that you had posted it and I just got really hungry. So I saved I saved it for another day.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I
a,
love it.
yeah, it's called Cafe Deuce. It's like an Italian cafe, Italian cake cafe. And there's a new hotel in Copenhagen. It's called 25 Hours Hotel, Copenhagen. And then it's kind of the cake shop is like a beside of the hotel, and it's like a totally new place. So it's
You've done
nice.
so much discovering. Now I need to do the same as Farah and look in your Instagram whenever I want to go somewhere.
All the posts are saved in my phone.
Yeah, I
All
need to do the same. I'm sold on your being a better tour guide than I am.
But she
Yeah.
also went to Milan, and now she has a Milan guide, a Portugal guide, a Tuscany vibe. Sophia, you better step it up. No, she's taking over your country.
Yeah, I will do my best. And the last one is this. It's kind of like a French bistro. It's called Grima. Paula, do you know Glimau? It's like it's close to the Enghaplatz, so it's super close to your home actually.
It sounds familiar, but I'm just no, I'm not that cool.
You should go.
I will save it and go. Oh yes, yeah, I've heard good things about that actually. Okay, Georgina, we need to exchange some tips and tricks.
Yes, definitely. I'm going to be like your new biggest fan for places to go and eat. And then I'm going to really impress my Danish friends. They'll be like, oh, you know these places. They'll be like, yes, we do.
Insider.
These are my recent favorite. Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions? Kristen, you're so quiet too today. Bon appetit. She's like, I can't, I'm hungry. I'm
Little
gonna
snack, you
Bon
guys.
appetit.
Too much food talk. I had to eat something.
Amazing. Awesome. Should we wrap up then? Are you guys all good? Have you gotten all your Fumina dose as you can? Amazing. So Fumina, usually what we do before we wrap up the class is we put all our microphones on and we take a deep breath together. And
Nice.
we have a nice calmness here. So would you like to join us?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Amazing. So we will
How should I do that?
you just follow me and we will do it all together. You're good. So you just everybody can just close their eyes. And then the goal is to take the deepest breath that you've taken all day. So just a moment to get ready. And then take a deep breath in. You can hold it at the top for a few moments. And then let it out at your own pace. And when you open your eyes, should we take a selfie with Fumina?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. I know Haldora and Jennifer, you're incognito, but we have your names. So
I had microneedling yesterday, so my face is extremely red.
we like it. Show it to us. No, it's a safe space here. We'll take it.
It's super, super red.
Yes, it looks like a nice bronze tan. Haldora will take you as well, even though you're sick. It's up to you. Yes. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Amazing. I will send this to everybody. Nice one, guys. But Fumina, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's so good to have
Thank you so much for everyone. Yes.
And thank you for sharing this energy with us. And we look forward to welcoming you here again in the future. And yeah, if anyone comes to Copenhagen, you know where to look for your ultimate guide. And thanks again for everyone else for joining us as well and for being here tonight and today.
Thank you so much, Fumina. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Fumina.
Take care. Bye.